Hello, hello, welcome to Writers Bullpen, the show where we sit down with prominent and successful writers in the entertainment industry to talk about their craft and careers. My name is Christian Pensa, and I am the host of this thing. Today we have a very special guest. He is a very talented, very unique filmmaker based in California. He grew up on an almond farm in Utah, and he has since carved out a career for himself making independent films and shorts and television series. That includes Agua Donkeys. It is a comedy series about two best buds that are pool cleaners in Utah, as well as Dusty Bluffs, a new upcoming 7-episode series that will be releasing sometime this year. He has a very unique voice. He is exceptionally talented and witty and funny in his writing, has a very distinct personal style, and has a very strong ability to bring a lot of personality and creativity and uniqueness into everything that he does. He is MP Cunningham. He is a fantastic writer and a fantastic interview guest. And in today's show, we will be hearing from him about his writing process, about some of the things that went into creating Agua Donkeys, the way that he collaborates with his writing partner, Jer Johnson, his style, his influences, his upbringing. But before we get into the meat of the episode, let's talk about Hofstra a little bit. So I'm a pretty prominent writer here in the Hofstra community. I'm head writer for Spin the Wheel, which is our alternative comedy game show, and I'm a staff writer for Thursday Night Live, which is our analog for Saturday Night Live. And it's a very exciting time to be any kind of entertainment writer here at Hofstra, because recently a lot of very strongly written work has received Herbie Award nominations. The Herbie Awards, of course, being our television awards here. So Spin the Wheel, which is my baby, is up for Best Package. Channel Chasers from our episode last spring, which was an absolute blast to work on. It was very collaborative, a lot of fun ideas coming in from a lot of different writers. I'm personally thrilled for that, very excited. I hope that takes the win. And my own feature script, Damned, Maddened, and Vindictive. It's adapted from DMV Tyrant by Christopher Durang. That is also nominated for a Herbie as well. Big thank you to the Herbies. It's a huge honor to be nominated. And congratulations and good luck to the other Best Script noms, Brooke Baker, Lexi Cameron, and Grace Stillman. But let's also just kind of chat a little bit about, what's it like being a writer in college and an aspiring writer. So I've taken, my fair share of classes, and I've read a few books on writing. So, I fancy myself a competent writer. I know that there is a lot that I still don't know about writing, and I know that it's a lifelong journey. It's art, it's your craft. It takes decades and decades to master a craft like writing, and I'm sure even the people that have mastered the craft, don't feel like masters when they're doing what they do. So, I'm very much, I take kind of the approach of a sponge. I will, experiment with any method, any technique, and see what kind of works for me, what doesn't. Because I love writing and, playing around with the form a little bit, and not doing the same routine every time, definitely keeps it interesting. And so that's kind of what I like to do. So for instance, I'm working on a stage play right now, which is pretty exciting because it's my first time writing a stage play. And kind of the technique, the daily routine that I'm kind of bringing to this is I just write a page a day. And if I'm feeling like I'm in the mood to write more, then I will do more. But I have found that kind of slow trickle of just a little bit every day, and the way that it adds up over time is very satisfying for me, especially as, a busy college student with a lot of responsibilities and not, a ton of time to sit down for 2 hours a day and just sit there and write. But if there's one thing that I do know about writing, it's that the only way you get better is just by doing it. You just gotta do it, and you gotta do it again, and you gotta keep doing it. And in the meantime, while you're just kind of doing the work of getting through writing something, write something that'll keep you interested in writing. Write something that you can stay invested in and passionate about for a long period of time. So when I was kind of getting started, I've always known that I wanted to write screenplays, that I wanted to write feature-length screenplays. And so I've heard from a lot of writers that are more experienced than I am and smarter than I am that the first screenplay that you write is probably not going to be very good. You're probably not going to be very happy with it. So I happened to be working on a story, and around 40 or 50 pages in, I just kind of started to lose confidence in it. But I decided I'm just going to stick with it, and I'm just going to finish it until I have a finished script. It might not be very good. I might not be very happy with it, but I'll have fun with the process. I'll do something that keeps me interested. And if I finish it and it's terrible, at least I'll have finished my first script. And so I did that. And it is kind of terrible, and I'm not very proud of it. But that's something that I'd like to recommend from firsthand experience. If you're working on something and you're kind of losing confidence in it, then I recommend just kind of writing for the trash. Writing a bad feature-length screenplay, I have found, is a really fantastic way to kind of get over the intimidation of working on a project that long. And, frankly, I don't think that I would have written anything that I'm as happy with as I am with Damned, Maddened, and Vindictive if I hadn't gotten over that hurdle of working on a bad feature-length script. So that's my recommendation. Don't be afraid of writing bad material, because in my opinion, you have to create a lot of bad art before you can kind of get down to what it is that you're really capable of. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Here is my interview with MP Cunningham. While I'm getting set up here, do you have a favorite kind of cuisine?
Oof. Mexican, I think.
What restaurant do you think has the best Mexican, if you had to say?
Hagos.
Yeah?
Hagos Tacos in Encinitas.
All right.
Lucadia, I guess. Lucadia.
I can respect that. All right. I've never been, but I'm sitting here with writer and director of various film and television projects, including Forward Clitoris, Dear Coach, and Agua Donkeys, as well as the upcoming series Dusty Bluffs. MP Cunningham, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, no worries, man. It's my pleasure.
So, what does a typical writing session look like for you?
I kind of have things throughout my day that are things that I do every single day to kind of give me the ability to kind of think freely, if that makes sense. And so throughout the day, I'll kind of always have like a notepad by me. Mm-hmm. But after I do my routine in the morning, I kind of then come home and usually like sit in the sun, have a pad on me, and just kind of try to see things,
Yeah.
As far as like the movie in my mind.
So you're not like an office guy. You're not a desk kind of guy at all.
No. And I usually, write with my writing partner, Jer, mm-hmm. and my partner that I make everything with. And so we kind of like to do our own thing, then kind of after come together with our thoughts and see where that goes, and kind of like, I guess, pitch in a sense back and forth of ideas that we've had and stuff. But most of the time I'm just kind of focusing in on my own vibe, and then I'll kind of talk to Jer about it.
Where does it kind of, when you start a new project, where does it kind of start for you guys? Do you like to start with like an outline, or do you just sort of go for the jokes first and see what can come out of that?
I try to envision like the world first, because I feel like everything that I make is in its own little reality. And I kind of see like the big picture, bird's eye view of almost like the visual of how it looks. And lately it's been, I'll find some sort of vehicle as far as, what Jer and I can be doing, whether it's Pool Boys or Paper Boys or this next one will be Lifeguards. I'll kind of see like the math in certain things, and then just kind of let whatever comes to me, arrive.
What kind of inspires the worlds of your stories? Is it a lot of personal experience?
When I tend to look back on stuff, it seems like a lot of Jer and I stuff is around like friendship and community, and I would like to assume it's because I grew up like in a small farm town, and so I like to kind of build the world of community because we're always kind of bouncing off each other,
Yeah, definitely. So you both write and direct a lot of the things that you work on. Which kind of came first for you? Was it, this love for directing that you kind of figured writing is a good means to an end for that? Or was it sort of writing first?
I mean, I guess I always loved watching movies growing up, and I had like the family VHS camcorder at the house, and I'd always kind of film stuff, but I never thought it was like realistic or what I was going to do, because I grew up like around farmers and I thought I was going to farm. And it wasn't until like an editing software came out and I saw it on one of my buddy's computers, and I was so blown away by the idea of editing that I went and got like certified in Final Cut, just because I loved the idea of being able to mess around with stuff, because I was so used to filming it on my VHS and just editing it with the record button, you know?
Yeah.
And so the idea of mixing stuff around blew my mind. And then I just started filming everything, and I went more documentary first and saw the constraints creatively of that, because you just have no way of like not affecting it. So in my mind, I thought I might as well go all the way and just get wild and make stuff up completely. So that's kind of the route that I took to it. And I guess I always put myself and my friends and stuff. And so I just naturally kind of directed things, and yeah, that's just where it is now, you know?
Yeah. What are some of the things you were watching growing up that, you know, inspired you to go out and make your own movies as a kid?
The Tim Burton, the 1989 Batman, like blew my mind in the theater.
Yeah.
As a kid, and like Terminator 2 blew my mind in a theater.
Oh yeah.
And I just had these reactions to certain movies. When I saw like Royal Tenenbaums, when I saw Pulp Fiction, when I saw, you know, certain films that I can't really like put my finger on any of them, but when I started to kind of see my style, you know, I think at first I tried to mimic like, you know, certain people, and then you just end up kind of finding your own way. And I really don't have one thing, but a lot of different things for sure.
How would you define that style? You know, what do you think makes an MP Cunningham film an MP Cunningham film?
I don't know, but it somehow just kind of comes out, and I know exactly what I want because I can see it in my mind, and I somehow like find people that do what they do and make their magic, and it becomes its own thing. So it's fun.
Is the comedy in your work, how does that sort of come to be? Does it start with the idea of like, you know, I want to tell this sort of funny story, or is that later? Where does that sort of factor into things for you?
I think I have like the vehicle and where it might end up, and kind of work backwards. And as far as like the comedy goes, I think it's just putting myself and Jer in situations and other, you know, with other people that seem the funniest on our way through the story, you know?
Yeah. So what do you think makes a good joke?
I don't know. Like, I guess like the language, because you have never heard it like that before, you know?
Yeah.
In the delivery and the tone, but language.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that as well. I think something you're really strong at that I really enjoyed about Agua Donkeys is you assign a lot of memorable like names and proper nouns sort of to things. Like, you know, these characters aren't doing simultaneous backflips. They're doing synchronized gainers off the Sleepy Seagull Motel. Do those kind of things, how do those come to be? Is it sort of things that you kind of pick up, weird things that you hear other people sort of saying that you kind of make a note of and write down, or do you and Jared just totally invent that stuff?
Yeah, it's like either it happens naturally with Jer and I kind of like spitting stuff back and forth at each other and it makes us laugh, or it's just kind of like how I hear it when I, you know, am writing it on with a pen on paper, and so like I just kind of hear it a certain way, then I'll say it to hear it and say it like a few times, and then like it just kind of happens, you know?
Yeah. Is there a specific joke in the show that you're especially proud of?
No. No, to me, it's like just the math of the whole thing. And so like, I don't know. There's certain things that make Jer and I laugh at different times. So it's all just a great experience.
Yeah. How much is scripted versus improvised?
Everything's scripted, like every word.
Oh, fully?
Yeah.
I'm really impressed by that. There's a lot of things that feel totally organic. I wouldn't have expected that.
I mean, I don't think anything really is. Yeah, but usually we know what we're gonna say.
The pacing feels really like deliberate too. Did you have a hand in editing the show at all?
Yeah, I edited everything.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there was like assistant editors on stuff, but I edited everything.
Yeah, sort of those uncomfortable pauses. I could imagine, an editor getting this footage and not being able to resist the temptation to like tighten them up. But there's something very special and very unique about it.
Well, it's like when I work with other editors, I love what they do. It's just different. Mm-hmm. And so until I like see every single second, because most of the time certain things you didn't plan on in the cut, you can kind of move around to do certain things, So I love that aspect of stuff of like going into it with some kind of an idea and completely changing my mind with like how it ends up is such a trip.
Yeah. How much input did you end up getting from the Roku channel during production? Did they sort of give you a lot of freedom?
Well, before Roku bought it, Quibi had it. You ever heard of Quibi? Do you remember Quibi?
Yes, I do, yeah.
So those guys and Funny or Die that produced it, they let us do our thing. So it was pretty awesome. That's
good to hear. Can't beat that, right?
Yeah.
So I do also want to ask about Dusty Bluffs. I don't know how much you could tell us since it hasn't come out yet, but I don't know, what can you tell us about Dusty Bluffs?
Dusty Bluffs is about a small town in the Red Rocks. It's two best buds that are paper boys, and they deliver the paper. And that's all I can kind of tell you. But
all right,
at least you can kind of picture it. And we deliver them in a dune buggy. So
I'm looking forward to that a lot. What could the Agua Donkeys fan expect to have their expectations met?
We're just always going to have to kind of be open to the idea of like always progressing to a new vibe, So,
yeah, absolutely.
It's all good.
I got one more question, and then I'll let you go here. If you could only commit to one aspect of sort of the TV film production process for the rest of your life, whether it's directing or writing or acting, what would that be if you had to pick?
Just one of them?
Yeah. It's like picking a favorite kid, I know, but
I don't think I could write something and not direct it or vice versa.
Yeah.
So probably directing, writing would be the gig, or probably just directing, I guess. I really love to work with the actors and kind of focusing on that, but most of the time I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between the cameras, so I would love to kind of focus in and direct. So that is my answer, actually.
Okay, fantastic. That's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us.
Yeah, no worries.
Very big thank you to MP Cunningham for sitting down and talking with us for this episode. If you haven't seen any of his work, you can find it on YouTube or Vimeo, and keep an eye out for Dusty Bluffs coming sometime this year. And a big thank you to everybody listening to this show. Appreciate that. If you want to hear more of this show, you can listen right here on WRHU 88.7 FM, or you can find episodes on my personal YouTube channel. That's Christian Pensa, CHRISTIAN space PENSA. Thank you so much for listening. That's going to do it for this week. I have been your host, Christian Pensa. And until next time, you stay safe out there.